So it's Monday and we're going to check out YMAX MSTY. We're going to also take a look at MSTR to see where it might be headed today, and also Bitcoin. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So today we're going to take a look at MSTY, as we did have that red day on Friday. Let's just see where it might be headed today, and to help us do that, we'll take a look at MSTR and Bitcoin as well. So let's just go ahead and jump right on into the Webull chart and see what it's looking like for today. Alright, so here we are on the Webull chart, and we're looking at MSTY currently, and this is pre-market. Okay, so we have not seen any kind of movement for Monday yet. We can only look at the pre-market, and I can do that quickly by looking at the 5-minute chart. But keep in mind, this is pre-market and things change as the day goes, right? So let's just take a quick little glance at the 5-minute here. Okay, so this is the 5-minute. This is Friday's close over here. Okay, so this is about where it was at, and then after market on Friday is this kind of a brighter, darker color here. That's the Friday after market. And this a little darker color here is the pre-market. So this is pre-market, and we're looking at about 15 after 7 in the morning here. So like I said, we have not even got the day going yet, but it is overall up from Friday. Okay, so we did close at 1787 on Friday, and pre-market we're at 1820. Okay, so again, that is pre-market, and that is using the values also from the aftermarket of Friday. All that will change as soon as the market opens. But going back to the day chart here, and this is the day chart here, and I have the actual still set, right, for the chart candles, and you can see that was that big red day we had on Friday. We did get as low as that 1784 before closing at 1787, and like I said, pre-market we are above $18 currently. Now if I flip it over to the adjusted just to see where it sits on that Bollinger Band, I can do that quickly here, and we'll go to chart settings, axis, switch the actual to adjusted, done, and there we go. Now I'll go ahead and turn on the Bollinger Band here, and I'll hide the lines just to help clear it up for the viewers. And as you can see, we are at the bottom of that Bollinger Band. The bottom of that Bollinger Band is sitting at about 1829. Okay, so even at pre-market, we are still at the bottom of that Bollinger Band, right? So that's still a potential buy for me. And that RSI2, we'll see what happens at opening, but at close on Friday, it's at 8.10. Now I have bought the last couple of days of last week, so I may not buy today unless it really comes down, right? As I don't want to necessarily use up all of my distribution money quite yet until I get my MSTY paid off. And we'll also update my spreadsheet sometime this week to show where my new average is, the number of shares I currently own now, and what that adjusted or real average price per share is. But currently we are still down at the bottom of that Bollinger Band, so it is still for me a potential buy area. But let's just take a look at MSTR and see if it's going to give us anything on the pre-market that could lead us to believe that we might have a bit of an up day or more of what we saw last week. Here we are on MSTR, and again, same as MSTY, we are at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and we did close with the RSI2 at 8.77, and that's why I did purchase a couple shares on Friday. But let's take a look at the 5-minute chart, and this is just a quick glance at the 5-minute. All right, so here we are at a quick glance at the 5-minute. As you can see, we did close at 366. Pre-market, we're at 372. So it has already moved up as far as in the aftermarket area, and the pre-market area, we have already moved up from that previous close here by about $6. Okay, now it is looking like it is trying to come back down pre-market today, but again, this is all pre-market, so definitely do not take that as a direction for Mr. or Misty, because the volume is low and you won't really get a full understanding of that direction until after market opens. But so far it looks like we might start off on the day chart here with a opening price above our closing price of Friday. That's what it's looking like so far. But of course, again, this is pre-market, so nothing is guaranteed here. And let me rephrase that, nothing is ever guaranteed here, right? Throughout the entire day. But let's just take a quick look at Bitcoin and let's just see what it has done over the weekend. Okay, so here we are on Bitcoin, and this was that same channel we were working within, right? We were working within this channel here of the stock candles, just liking to stay right there in that channel until the end of last week, where it did break. We did get a red candle confirmation, but one thing to note on that confirmation candle is the long wick on the bottom. Even though it is a red candle, meaning that it did open and then close lower than it opened for that day, which would be a signal for a confirmation since it is below that channel here or that support line. But that long wick on the bottom, that is meaning that there is a lot of buyers in this area. Now, strong buyers, don't know. They might get tested again before too long to see if it can come on back down. But if there are some strong buyers here, which you can see there seems to be a little bit of a line right in here, so there might be some pretty strong buyers here that did push it up. And then on Sunday it did get a green candle push up, right? But notice it got up to about that support line, or now resistance line, and then got pulled back underneath it. Today we did start out right there close to that resistance line and then came down just a little bit, and that's just for the first part of today. We'll see if this line here, which is now a resistance line, because we did get this confirmation candle, right? So that does flip it to a resistance line. But that confirmation candle is not a strong sell or downward movement confirmation candle, right? Because of the long wick on the bottom, meaning there's a lot of buyers in here. So that's not a great confirmation candle for a downturn, right? But it is a confirmation candle. So we will now use this as our resistance line, but it looks like it's going to get tested to see how strong of a resistance line that is actually going to be. It may want to move right back up into this channel and switch it back to a support line, but we'll see as time goes. Currently, we're still setting at around that 114K, and it seems to have been that for a bit now. It did end up getting as low as 111.9K on Saturday, but as high as 115 on Sunday. So today, so far, it opened at 114.6, went as low as 114.1, and as high as 114.8. So for today, so far, it is just hovering around that 114. We do have that resistance line at that 114.7 to 114.8-ish area. And that's about exactly where today has went up and tested. So we'll see, can that stay strong as a resistance, or will we break through that, get a confirmation candle back above that line so that we can keep this line as a support line and put the candles right back into the channel here. Now if we can do that, then come back down and test this line again and start moving back up, that's a very strong signal for a good strong support line right here. And we could start seeing it to move on back up. But we will have other resistance lines here that will be testing that candle movement if it continues to go up. But if it gets rejected here and starts coming back down, we will start testing to see how strong those buyers sitting right here in this area of roughly that 113.5 down to about, say, 111.8. If those are some strong buyers here, then we could get this pushed back up into that channel. But only time will tell, and it's still early on a Monday. As you can see, the momentum bars here, they did decrease, okay? As you can see here on Saturday, it was 910.7, then it went to 898.0, and today it is sitting at 870.5. So it is decreasing, okay? It is still pointed down. It still has a good separation. So this could continually to move on down, especially if it tests this resistance line and then starts coming on back down. Then you'll start seeing this momentum bar increase, okay? Meaning we're not done coming down quite yet. But we'll see how today goes and pivot if we need to pivot, right? So we will keep an eye on MSTY here for today. As currently pre-market, we are sitting at 1820. Friday close at 1787. I did make some purchases because I just could not pass up a candle below that bottom of that Bollinger Band. So do I think this thing is going on down? Well, I would not be buying it if I thought this thing was going to zero, right? But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I am not a financial advisor. So do not follow me. I am only showing what I'm doing with my MSTY and Mr. plays, right? This is only for entertainment and fun. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. I hope we have a nice little MSTY run today. We need a little bit of a pop-up just to get everybody calmed down. But if not, if it comes on down, I might be buying a little bit more. It just depends on how far down we go if I buy more, just simply because I can't resist it, right? So as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.